Good. All right, so we'll call the street committee meeting to order on April 1st at 7:12. So we've got a couple things on the agenda. First, we'll start with the street signs citywide.
So I had them mock one up. We changed the logo on all the trucks and everything to the star brick inside the state of Ohio. All of our signs are green and white. We needed something to set Nelsonville apart where it was a little bit different than other towns. The signs cost the exact same amount as the green and white ones. We had 2.5 pages of signs I needed to order, which was going to be about $2,900 and some odd dollars. For $5,000, I can replace every one of them in town. I have the money to do so in a certain line item on street. This wasn't really coming in here for a permission thing. I just wanted to show you guys and run it by you. This is a mock-up of the sign, except for it's going to have white reflective around the outside too. So all the signs, all the street signs in town are going to be changed to these.
I like it.
That's pretty readable.
This is just white right now. It's going to be reflective. This was just a mock-up. It's not made of the same material that the signs will be made out of. This was just a quick mock-up for me.
Okay.
But it'll have the white reflective ring around it also.
Okay. Tom, have you seen these new mock-ups yet?
So it'll set us apart a little bit. We're trying to bring tourism and stuff. So it'll have the newer city logo on it with it. So those are getting ordered this week.
Nice. No, I saw the other side's white.
The other side's white.
Will they all be like that, red and white?
They're all going to be the red.
Red.
The red colored more of a brick
Mhm.
to go with the star brick. So
I like it too.
yeah, we just mocked up. We done both ways.
Mhm.
This one we think will be harder to read the street name because it's not as reflective as the white.
Right.
So this side with the darker background, when light hits it, it'll make the words pop out. Yes,
Are you
ma'am.
making both sides the same then?
Yes, they're both going to be this maroon color with
Thank you.
the street name.
Nice. I like it. It looks pretty cool.
So
What do you think,
those
Mr.
will be
Mayor?
ordered.
I think those would be great.
Those will be ordered this week. We've got one guy that gets some of the guys from Star, 3 guys from Star. So they're gonna, once these are done and in, they're gonna start changing.
Very cool.
We'll have them all changed throughout the city by the end of summer.
Okay. For the record, I forgot to announce Mr. Booth could not be here, so I'll chair tonight's meeting.
Okay. Yep.
And Mr. Taylor's in attendance.
Okay. Thank you.
Next, paving projects for 24. If you could touch on that. please.
I've got some streets picked out. Me and Bill were supposed to go drive around today and look at them. He left before we got a chance. Most of the streets that we're gonna do this year are piggybacking off the project because it saves us transportation and setup fees for every street that we do. You get charged for that when they have to load up and move somewhere. So we're gonna piggyback. They're gonna start, the tentative schedule for the project to start paving is June 5th.
June what?
5th.
5th.
And so that's after. That's because that's when they'll be done with their projects as far as tearing up the streets. You mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they've still got tie-ins and stuff to do in Frog Hollow. They've still got at least another month's worth of work, but it's also getting on the schedule for the asphalt too. And they've got a lot of asphalt going down in Nelsonville this year,
Okay.
just for the project. All of Franklin Street to 4th Street. The city's gonna pick up Franklin Street from Fort around to Washington, and then from Fort down to Washington. That way, just instead of partially doing the road, just do the whole road and then it's done. You don't have to worry about it. There's a few roads in Frog Hollow that we want to get where there's not utilities under them. And Frog Hollow is a people think the canal's in pretty bad shape, Frog Hollow's in pretty
Yeah,
bad
and they've
shape.
been neglected for a while.
And they have, and I mean, we fill potholes, but it's nonstop up there because the asphalt's so old. So they're doing a big portion of Frog Hollow, so a couple of streets up there, I'm piggybacking off of them already being there. So then that way, when we pull out of Frog Hollow, it's done.
Okay.
We won't have to go back for 10 years because it's all new roads.
Now, can we go, I'm sorry to interrupt you here, but can we kind of go through this actual street names for people? I know some people have been really interested in that. So Franklin Street, though, you were talking about from like Pine Grove to Fort Street,
It's
correct?
getting done as part of the project.
So that's Pine Grove, so it'll be Franklin Street from Pine Grove to Fort. Only to Fort then?
That's as far as they're going.
Okay,
We are gonna pick up Franklin Street from Fort down around the one-way Jefferson to Washington Street.
okay,
And then we're picking up Fort Street from Franklin down to the square, down to Washington Street there. And then because they are also turning and going up Fort Street. When they hit Fort Street, they're going up Fort Street, clear up to,
yeah. And that'll be from Franklin Street all the way up to Pleasant View and Scott Street, correct?
yes.
Okay.
And then they're also doing Short Street and Conner.
When is Walnut Street? Is Walnut Street ever on the agenda for anything? Because I just had a citizen raise a question about Walnut Street.
We need to figure out the bricks.
Yeah.
Doing bricks is a lost art, as you
Yeah.
can see with
And-
Jefferson Street that we still owe a lot of years on. That's no better than it was before.
Right.
And what about the utilities under Walnut too? Would you-
Right.
Okay.
That's what we're trying to do, is that everything that's getting utilities to pave it, that way we don't have to go back and dig it up.
Okay. Now, then is Scott Street also then, so Short Street, then Conner Street,
Scott
and then
Street
Scott
is
Street?
not getting paved,
Not paved, okay,
because in the next project is the sewer, is the phase 4 sewer, it's
Okay.
going down Scott Street.
okay. So not until after that then,
Right.
okay. And then, is Pleasant View getting paved? Because it's probably going up Pleasant View Phase 4 sewer also then, I'm assuming?
No,
No.
it's not going up through there.
Okay,
I'm not sure if Pleasant View's still on. If it's not, then we'll probably pick that one up because that's terrible up through there.
yeah. And then, okay, so we're not sure about.
You're talking about the one-way Pleasant View?
Yeah. That's the worst section of
Yes.
it. Okay, and then I know the big one that I've seen online, what about Canal Street?
Canal Street starts next year, in the
20
spring,
oh,
in the
so
spring
it's
of 25.
Okay,
And we had a meeting the other day about that. There's gonna be a lot of road closures and lane changes, and it's split up into, I think, 6 different sections through town.
okay.
So back to the first project, this will be the whole width of the street that'll be paved.
Yes.
And how thick of a lift? It's gonna be asphalt. Is there gonna be just one lift or two,
It's gonna be 2 inches.
2 inches?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's areas up through there where there's almost no curb. Will there be grinding done? How's that gonna be?
I believe the part of the project was grinding at the curb and then had the ground in the middle and roll over. The streets that I had for the city, it's grinding all of them.
Okay,
It's not just an overlay, it's actually grinding all the streets.
okay. All right.
Do you know which streets you're thinking about up in Frog Hollow?
Yeah, give me a second. Edward Street, William Street, Frank Street, St. John Street. Well, it's the alley between Edwards and Frank Street, which I guess is still considered St. John, but it's only wide enough to be an alley. They are doing John Street from Edwards all the way up and around in Fredericks, clear to the top of the hill at Grover. And we're gonna pick up everything else down in
Oh, they're doing up Grover then?
They're not gonna clear up Grover.
Okay.
They're going so far up Grover at the bottom where they had to dig,
Gotcha.
and then at the top where they tied in and had to dig across.
Okay.
But all Frederick from Grover, Frederick clear on to John Street, clear back over to Edwards. We're gonna do Edwards from Madison Street all the way back up to the top of the hill, and then we're picking up all the little streets in the middle also. Because in that way, when we walk away, Frog Hollow's done.
Right.
There's not one street up there that's awful when everything else is new. And that seems to be the way it's been going for the last few years, the way these projects go. We're knocking out sections at a time. Instead of just walking away and leaving streets, we're piggybacking because we get a better deal with it, so we can get more, so we piggyback, and then when we walk away, it's that area is done.
Is there any plans for Chestnut Street in the sinking spots?
We can put patch in it. Yeah, that's right now. That's all we got with them being brick, and a lot of people in Nelsonville love the brick.
Chestnut's gonna have to be addressed at some point.
Yeah, just because we have a lot of utilities that we need to fix too.
I know that's not gonna be an easy project,
Not at all.
no, but it truly needs to be addressed.
And as sad as it is to say, the bricks weren't designed for today's traffic. I mean,
No.
Not even close. Mill Street, when we pulled the bricks out of Mill Street, they were 5-sided bricks. They were made for horses and buggies. They were made for horses to get traction when it was wet. I mean, that's not made for a 15,000 pound, I mean, it's just not made for it. The bricks are, as much as the bricks are nice, they're kind of outdated. Me personally, I'd like to see the square re-bricked and all the crosswalks brick with asphalt. Canal Winchester did that in Old Canal Winchester downtown, and it's absolutely gorgeous, the way they've done it.
So would it be possible that we could get all the paving projects on the city's website so people can see what streets are being done this year?
And I would put estimated timeline to, like, beginning on June 5th. Hopefully the weather's good so they can.
And I'll have to get with DV Weber to find out actually where they're starting, for us to have an idea when the streets that we're paying for are also gonna be paved.
Is there an abandoned tunnel under Chestnut Street?
An abandoned tunnel?
Yeah.
There's not an abandoned tunnel. We have tunnels all through town, and they're actually storm tunnels. Back in
Hand-laid brick?
the early 1900s, when they first plotted out Nelsonville, there was creeks running everywhere, and they hand-laid storm drains that you could actually walk through. They're big enough to walk through to control where the creeks went, and they could fill it in and make it more solid. But yes, there's one under Chestnut, there's one under the Methodist Church. I mean, there's quite a few of them in town.
Okay, anything else on the paving?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we had 2 letters sent in by citizens. You have copies of those, Jason?
I don't have them with me, but I know what they said already.
You know what they are? Okay, so could you address them, and thank you for sending in these letters. That's a great thing to have.
Well, I know, I don't remember what the first one was.
Yeah. Would you like them?
The one was,
I can read it if you want.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
First letter we received was from Amy Fields, 126 Pine Grove. With the increased traffic that has returned to the former Doctors Hospital in Pine Grove, I've seen a tremendous number of near-miss accidents because people are not familiar with the area. People not familiar with the area do not know the intersection is a 3-way, not a 4-way stop. In addition, I have mentioned this before, there is no sign where Pine Grove Drive splits that designates which house numbers are up the hill and which ones are on around the corner. Delivery and emergency vehicles need to know which way to go. Thank you for your consideration in this.
There used to be a sign up there, and it just disappeared.
I can get three-way signs and put on the stop signs.
Well, and also that intersection is so wide from where the ambulance, where they made that wide so the ambulance could have a straight shot. When it used to come up, it made a slight turn and then it went straight. So that intersection's extremely wide. And the stop sign is all the way back up above where the ambulance comes, where the old ambulance would have pulled
We
in.
can look at moving that, but I know.
It's
there's also
way
a
back
driveway
there.
Right there, so.
And as far as where Pine Grove splits, that upper section, talking to a former street employee of several years, that's actually a private driveway that was given right away by the Oakleys, who built the first house there.
That go up.
That goes up over the hill. That's why there's not a stop sign there.
Well, it's not a stop sign.
No,
It's an address.
There's a street sign
To
there.
let you know the
There used to be
address.
a street sign that sat right there at the corner of the park, right across the way from the drive.
But
and it disappeared.
We can go through, it's only having two signs. maybe.
Okay, can we look at that?
Yeah, we can, I can't give a timeline on it, because,
Yep.
I mean, with how long it takes to,
Sure.
how many signs they have.
Yeah, but if you can look at that, that'd be
Yeah.
great. Second letter was from Rebecca Lyon. She did not give an address, but I'm pretty sure she lives on St. Charles Hill.
Yeah, she's through at the top.
Good afternoon. I have two topics for the street committee. One, St. Charles Street Hill is in need of repairs. It is the access to the water reservoir, cross, and 911 tower. I've spoken with Jason. I realize it can be several years until funds could be available to properly fix. I've attached a couple pictures. If the street could be on the list of repairs in 2024, it would be very appreciated. Number two, there is a proposed road, Church Street, that runs through my property. The road was proposed prior to 33. I have been in contact with Athens County Auditor. They have told me to reach out to Nelsonville about possibly having it vacated by the city. I eventually would like to build another house up here and believe the city will never be installing a street, but stranger things have happened. Please let me know how to proceed. I have attached a plotted map for reference. Thank you for all you do for the city, Rebecca Lyon. And she gave her phone number. So, is there anything we can do temporarily in 2024 to help resolve?
We can add more patch. I mean,
Okay.
We've done 19 ton on that hill last year.
Okay.
It's just, the ditches all need redone. We redo the ditches, but the traffic on it is not what it was designed for. The road's just completely shot. It needs completely redone.
Now, I've got a question. Can we put a tonnage sign on that road because you've mentioned that you've talked to trash haulers and they're taking a big trash truck up there and they just do it anyway, but can we put a load limit on that road?
We could. I know that when we done the 19 ton this year, it was after Rebecca come and talked to me.
Okay.
She had a package coming from FedEx and they refused to go up the hill.
Gotcha.
They refused to go up there. So, I mean, yeah, we'd have to look into it and come to a determination on what the tonnage would be. I mean,
Is this something we might be able to work with, Michael Betts and DLC to help us out a little bit?
absolutely. That, and I can talk with Jeff Maiden also, the county engineer.
Good. So that would be great. And maybe we could, if we can just do something temporarily this year maybe, and then put it on for 25 or 26, then actually maybe we can do it. But you said there's two houses up there, correct?
There's two. There's
So-
one before you get to the cross, halfway up the hill. on the
Okay.
left.
So it will inconvenience them for at least a week if we were to,
At least, I'd say longer than that,
Okay.
because the road needs completely taken out and redone.
redone. Okay. The second part is the Church Street, proposed road, Church Street. If it's just an alley and it's not being used, if we don't foresee it,
It runs right through the middle of her property.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, the way it's originally plotted, I don't know if there was a picture.
there was a plot map on there, yeah.
When they put the bypass in, it like went right, the bypass goes right through where it was
I got
originally
you.
plotted.
I got you.
Yeah, she owns all the property up there. It's
Okay.
no reason to ever be an alley in there.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm fine with it if you know, we vacate it, you know, we can.
Yeah, I'd say we pass that on to the city manager
We
to,
have a few alleys in town that really truly need vacated.
Can you bring those to, Tom too at the same time and have that discussion with him on which ones he's
Absolutely.
proposing? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one of them, like I told you, that
Sure.
I went and looked at it, and it's got trees 2 foot in diameter growing in the middle of it.
Okay.
It's, nobody's ever used it, it was just plotted that way, so that's how it was left.
Perfect. Okay, yep, that sounds good to me. I'm fine with that.
yeah, I am too.
So,
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you for addressing that, Jason.
Last item, I was just given this before the meeting. Nelsonville Annual Beautification Week from April 21st to the 27th. It's on our website now, correct? Keith?
I believe, I sent it to Dan.
Okay,
So if it's not on there yet, it will be.
okay, and they're looking for volunteers for that
Yes.
week.
Yes.
April 21st, clean up the Nelson Commons Park and the water park cleanup, season prep, the roundabout garden cleanup, and the Nelsonville Square cleanup. And then from the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, neighborhood cleanup crew. All week, the street sweeper will be in operation. And they are urging businesses and homeowners to tidy up their respective properties. And this is being sponsored by Rocky Boots, the Rotary, Chamber of Commerce, and the City of Nelsonville.
Yeah, specifically the Rocky Community Improvement Fund.
There we go.
And there is a QR code on the sheet, which will be on the website, that you can sign up to be a volunteer.
Yes.
Okay. Anything to add to that, Jason?
No, sir.
Okay. Any other business for the street committee?
I think that's everything.
That's everything? Okay. So we'll adjourn at 7:35.